What's up, YouTube? It's Tiny. Hey, this is just a short video response to Eric the Car Guy's ETCG1 video, flat rate. You know, I believe, first of all, his video is a great video. And second off, you know, he has a valid point about doing quality work and, you know, trying to make a decent buck, you know, doing flat rate. But what I want to say is personally, I think the flat rate system is unfair in two ways mainly. One, to the customer, and two, to the tech. You know, when they write those flat rate books, they got a guy at the plant or some engineer that all he does is he puts on that particular part. That's what he does every day. He installs that part, installs that part, installs that part. That's all he does. And I think, you know, don't quote me on this, but if I remember when I first started out working, when I started out as a tech, when I got out of school, that I had read somewhere that somebody had sued the Ford Motor Company because of something over flat rate. And the way I understood it was, you know, they take this guy that all he does is install that part on said vehicle. And the reason that I guess the lawsuit was brought up was because they said that the flat rate time was impossible and it wasn't fair. And the company ended up winning, but what you got to remember is, you know, when they come to court to do the demonstration, it's a brand new vehicle, nice shiny parts, never been driven, you know, and we all know if you drive a vehicle for any amount of time that fasteners get stuck, rust is a problem, and I personally think that flat rate is unfair. You know, like you gave an example in your video about doing like a cabin air filter. You get paid, let's say, half an hour, and you can do it in, what, 10 minutes, let's just say. Like you said, you do 8 of those, and you got a whole day's pay. You know, really, you know, the tech's making out, but, you know, like you said, you know, but the customer isn't. So, you know, it goes both ways, and I completely agree with Eric's video. But I personally think that the flat rate system is a farce, because honestly, flat rate, I think more techs make mistakes because of the flat rate system. I think that there would be less mistakes made by techs if they weren't forced to try to do a job in a certain X amount of time, you know, to make a decent buck. You know, to me, that's the biggest flaw in the flat rate system. I feel that, you know, there are good mechanics, and, you know, all places are going to have comebacks. I don't care what garage you have, you're going to have comebacks. But I think that, honestly, I think the flat rate system, especially if you're a guy that's brand new to the field, you know, You just got out of school, you got your first job, it's a flat rate job, and you're busting your hump, but you're not making anything, and then you're making mistakes because, you know, to support your family, you know, you got to try to do a job faster, you know, and you don't got that experience yet, you know. For a seasoned technician, somebody that's been around for a while, you know, I understand the flat rate system, and it can work to their advantage because they got that experience of, well, I've seen this before and I've dealt with this before, so I know how to do it, you know. And, you know, that's my biggest flaw with the flat rate system. I just think that, especially for entry-level technicians, I think it's a bad thing. You know, first of all, the customer's not going to get that quality repair that they're paying $40, $60 an hour for, depending on what dealership you're at or whatever. You know, they're paying this high dollar per hour rate, you know, and, you know, the employer, you know, it's all about making money, but for the technician. But, you know, I mean, ultimately, you're supposed to be out to serve the customer. And, you know, like your example, Eric, of the cabin air filter, you know, if you put it in 10 minutes and it pays a half an hour, you know, to me, I feel, and this is just maybe just my, you know, this is just an opinion. I'm not saying, you know, it's fact or whatever. It's just my opinion. To me, that feels like I'm ripping off the customer. Because, you know, if you're going to charge X amount of dollars because a book says it should take this long, you know, and like I said, you know, when they come up with these flat rate schedules, they take a guy that or whoever's on the assembly line or whatever, and that does this every day, and that's all they do is pull this part out, put it back in, pull this part out, put it back in, and it only takes them, let's say, an hour and a half to do that job. But it's a car that you've never seen before, you know, so you got to do some research and everything else. You know, I think that that's the biggest flaw in the flat rate system. That's just my opinion. And I think, you know, entry-level techs taking a job where they are paid flat rate, you know, first of all, puts a lot of pressure on them. Second of all, they don't have that experience. So I just think it kind of sets the tech up to fail more often, you know. And, you know, if you're pressured into doing something quicker because of, you know, you're not going to make any money unless you do it, I just don't think that's fair, you know. And I don't know, I just thought I'd like to throw that out there and to see what you thought about it, Eric. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Please rate, comment, and subscribe, and thanks.